Welcome back, everybody, to another show of The Money Honey, the show that brings together women in property, finance, and construction. Today, I have invited a fellow TikToker with me. So we've met over social media. We met over TikTok, actually. They are out there, putting themselves out there quite a lot. They run a mortgage practice. They've been running their business for 5 years. And obviously, anybody in my eyes who raises their hand and says, hey, I'd love to speak on The Money Honey, absolutely deserves a place here, because we need more women who raise their hand and they don't wait to be asked, right? Because a lot of people that have come on the show have been invited by me, and some people have been nominated and they say, well, yes, thank you for considering me. But it's like, yes, speak up, put your hand up, come and speak, because if we want to see more female faces on the show, you actually have to be a female face on the show. So be the change, actually be seen if you want to make an impact in this industry. So this particular person that I've invited on the show contacted me directly and said, I've seen your show, think what you're doing is great, I want to be on it, I want to speak. I'm still petrified. They're like, I'm still nervous. And that's what it takes, guys. It just being uncomfortable, right? Being uncomfortable and stretching yourself out of your comfort zone. And that's the only place where the magic happens and where you can actually grow. So without further ado, I am delighted to be joined today by the wonderful Adele Forbes, the Managing Director of West Yorkshire Money. Welcome, Adele. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. How are you? Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Thank you for watching behind the scenes and listening, and then now for playing your part and being on the show. So thank you for reaching out to me.
Great.
So we've obviously been connected on social media for a while. We like each other's posts and things like that. What made you want to actually reach out? Because it is a brave thing to do, to say, oh, well, hey, do you mind if I come on the show? Like, I'd love to speak on the show. It can be a bit uncomfortable, but what made you want to do that?
That's a great guest on in the past, to be fair. All powerful women. And, I think more women need to come forward, and it's a male-oriented industry, isn't it? So great to be given the opportunity to come on here and say my piece, really, I suppose.
Absolutely. Yes. And I'm sure we've got plenty to learn from you today, because you've been running your brokerage now for about 5 years. Is that right?
That's right, yeah.
But that's not where you were always started. So talk to me a little bit about your journey and how you got to where you are today. Give us a little bit of a run through your background.
So I started in a mortgage lender, worked my way up. I was a mandated underwriter for about 5 to 6 mortgage lenders along the way. And started off answering the phones, customer services, worked my way up, built up a lending mandate of about £1 million. So I was authorized to give mortgages to people, up to £1 million. Then went into kind of the subprime arena, help assist launch a mortgage lender, and then obviously the credit crunch happened, so I kind of went into a bit of invoice finance for 12 months, working as a BDM. That was only 12 months of the industry, and then I went into mortgage arrears counselling, still with lending up until 2008, 2009, and then moved up to Chester and went into another underwriting position, and then thought, it's time for me to kind of be a broker. Started working for a large network. Wasn't confident of, doing my own leads, so I worked, with a large network and managing private estate agents, not something how I would got the referrals. Did that, and then I went to work with a directly authorised firm out from the back bedroom, set up their Yorkshire arm, which was directly authorised, and I thought, I need to be face-to-face, really have my own offices, have my own team. And then was given an opportunity to join TMG, the Money Group. And I started off as an AR appointed rep of South Yorkshire Money. And then went directly authorised in the following October, which is 2019. And then built my team up from there, really. So I've done the whole ground running, and obviously I've won awards on the back of it as well. So pretty busy. 5 years, definitely. I'm definitely going grayer, to be fair.
Yeah.
The mortgage market, the way it is, it's very up and down, peaks and troughs, isn't it? So
that's what I really wanted to bring the value into the show, into the listeners here, because there'll be a lot of mortgage brokers listening, maybe running a sole advisor firm, or they've started to recruit and now, with what's going on in the market. So I know you've been in it now for 5 years, so you've got a lot of background and a lot of, you stabilized quite well before these events have been taking place in the industry. But how do you navigate today's challenges, changes? What are you doing to stay stable, basically, in today's market?
I mean, everything takes a lot longer. Obviously, the lenders pulling rates left, right, and centre, market changes, affordability changes, and it's been very, very painful this year, I think, for everybody, really. And I suppose after COVID, I'm as much as I run the business, I'm still writing the business as well. So I keep me handling with regulation that way. It's quite grounded. I like that part of the job as much as, I've got a team behind me, which obviously makes my life easier a little bit without me. But keeping, on the ground really and doing the job with the clients, so I see their pain as well, so that's how I do it. Some people obviously step back when they get to a certain level, but I suppose that has its pains as well, really.
Yeah. No, it has been very, very difficult, hasn't it? With so many changes to lender products, the rates, what clients are hearing about in the news as well. So what would you say are the leader traits and the way when you're putting your business hat on, when you're running a business, what traits would you say are going to help people or make or break people during this period?
I've very heard a decent client bank look after your clients. I mean, during COVID, you found that everyone was stuck at home, so you had more time to speak with your clients. Your clients can become, friends at the end of the day. And having that client bank, where there's a lot of new brokers coming into the arena, and they haven't got client banks and scratching around. You can go so much to your friends and family, the setting all that. And then I've got lots of competition, in my local area, which is Pontefract, compared to what I did do 5 years ago. There's quite a lot of people with offices as well. So being there with the social media, doing everything else that I sometimes do. I mean, during COVID, just to get out for the day, to be fair, I did a skydive, which gave back to a local charity. Sending out hampers for NHS and things like that. That's what the past. Keep that local response coming back in as well. They're going to help you help them. Put yourself out there with mortgage arrears and things like that. If you need to chat to people.
Yeah. So basically, you're staying close to your client bank, really reaching out to them on a personal level. I mean, I don't think everyone listening to this is going to probably sign up to a skydive. I think that's quite mental. I don't know if that helps you survive the mortgage market. Yeah.
Yes. Well, skydive's a little different, isn't it? People got behind up with the rates about $2,500 locally. So, people who work for that charity will locally and stick for mortgage advice.
Wow. No, I think I really like that local strategy, and often I have that kind of setup with my clients. Everyone wants leads from social media. We'll talk about that, but actually, it's also about being human and being normal. It's like, okay, you want leads from social media, but who knows you in your local area? How have you got to know the businesses locally? Have you got to know the people locally? If you were to walk into the town centre, would people recognise who you were? Do people know where you're based? So it's actually just going back to basics and thinking, okay,
a little bit, door knocking a little bit.
Yeah, door knock, absolutely. I saw this. I won't mention them because I didn't ask if I could, but there was this broker on TikTok who did a video to show that she was literally dropping leaflets off door to door to door in her local neighborhood. Now and she is young, by the way. So she is not that she does that because she took that from the 1980s advertising era. She actually does that today, as I'm pretty sure she's either my age or younger. And she made leaflets and she was dropping them. And then I reposted about it saying, this is what you do. This is, when you are going through challenges, when you're trying to make it work, you do everything you can in your power to make it work, right? Have you ever been through something like that, Adele, where you've literally, apart from skydiving, obviously, where you've really done everything possible to keep your business as safe as possible?
I mean, I do support local businesses, so I will go into a local area, post something, check in, try to think, give them a great review. I have gone, I'll buy that dress if you like share my business page. I've done that before. such old-fashioned door knocking, isn't it? You know, or I set myself up as a challenge and make sure they know that I run West Yorkshire money locally when I buy little butchers, for instance. It's like a bit of a challenge for me. Can you name drop where you work or what you do? You know, so that's you know, how you do it as well. Also be, you know, very close to nail people who do your nails, your hair, just as well, hire football. You know, that's a good way to get around as well.
Yeah, people who know people, right? And then you translate. I mean, look, this is the kind of, everyone wants the results, but they don't actually realize what it really takes, like the hard work and the creativity it takes to actually make it work. So yes, you go on social media and it's not a case of, oh, look, I've just posted something, I hope everyone likes it. You have to actually proactively be engaging with other people. Like you say, talk to your hairdresser, talk to the person who cuts, you know, who does your cleaning, you know, cleaners know cleaners who know cleaners, right? So, you know, lots of people are connected, and it's just about telling that one person.
All the businesses as well, you know. So I have done the BNIs of the world, you know. I did that, you know, lived and breathed that for, you know, 2 years. That's a good way to bring up your client van. You have to kind of go through that slog a little bit. You know, it is hard work at first. Then your client van comes and it builds, and people recommend you. You know, speak to your accountants, offer them, you know, a small referral fee that, you know, for referring something and it converts, you know, 100 quid here, 50 quid here, something is it to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is great stuff.
At the end of the day, it's tax-free, so everyone loves a bit tax-free money, let's say.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, you say it so casually and candidly, like it's a given. You're like, yeah, do this, do this, do that. I mean, you say it so naturally, but actually it might not become that obvious to people who are maybe quite new at running their brokerage, because you can get qualified as a mortgage broker, but actually no one teaches you along the way how to actually run a business, how to sell, how to do business development, how to market yourself. So where have you had to learn all these traits?
I don't know. You kind of do it, don't you? You know, so yeah.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, I think sometimes it just comes to you like naturally. I think, you know, it sounds like you work hard, you roll your sleeves up, and then it works out. And you're like, oh wow, I didn't even realize that was a strategy. Like that's what I did. But just to pick up on things that you said, just in case it's been missed, but the strategies I'm picking up from you, because you know, it's good to be conscious of what you're actually good at. Rather than it just being like luck or a fluke. You're like, oh yeah, I just did that once and it works. I think there's actually so much, there's so much weight to what you've just said. So I just want to recap really briefly the strategies that I've heard in you and make it really clear to the listeners, because it might be that they've not tried it yet or they've just not done enough of it. But okay, apart from the skydive, that was very, very random. And it can't always be duplicated. But what I got from that was you got a whole community behind you. What you did was you did something crazy because it stands out. So again, think about, you know, if you're listening to this and you can take inspiration from Adele, what can you do that's really out there that is not an everyday occurrence that most people wouldn't do? So it might be like a fun run or a skydive, or it might be, you know, raising money for a local charity. So how can you get the community behind you? So that's one big thing that Adele has done. The second thing Adele's done is the virtual or social media version of door knocking, which is to connect with as many people as possible, you know, engage with their content. I mean, Adele's always found time to engage with my content, so I can only imagine what she's doing for people who are actually her potential customers. So she's definitely done that. So think about actually, have you added everybody you know on the show, everyone in your phone book? Have you added them on social media? Have you connected with your friends and family on there? The third thing Adele has highlighted here is speaking to actual real human people and building relationships with the local community. So your hairdresser, your nail technician, the cleaner, you know, the butchers down the road. Like, actually don't just run. You know how we're always in a rush, Adele? Like, we're going to town, we're like, yeah, can I just have some chicken, this and I actually spend that time and that opportunity to get to know the person behind the counter. I often find I go into Hitchin and I cannot walk through the high street, right? It's off the back of my own doing. I cannot walk through the high street without having stopped like 5 or 6 people every time. It's so nice. And I think that comes from like my Italian background, my Italian culture. Because like when I go back home in Italy, that's what it's like in Sicily. Like you literally just like, to go to the post office is a day's work because you're actually interacting with every local person on the way there. So those are the three main strategies I've picked up from you just in the first 15 minutes. So let's dive more into your personal branding and your advertising, because a lot of people love to be able to do that. How do you actually put yourself out there? Because you said to me, you know, I want to put myself out there. What do you actually do to do that?
So I do for marketing, I use a external company, but I steer it as in, you know, I don't send out, base rates gone up, as everyone knows Christmas. But I will put a little bit quirky, try and make a bit tongue-in-cheek over it, because let's face it, Romans are a little bit boring. You have to kind of disarm clients when you see them, you know, that you're not, suited and booted. I'm rarely suited and booted. Most of my clients kind of first-time buyers kind of thing, so I will wear jeans, hoodie, on those days when you're suited and booted.
Yes.
So, for instance, yesterday I got onto the Lionesses fake Facebook page. They asked me to join, and they let me post my thing that I did last week. Absolute Radio had where you could send in so I'm from Pontefract, is where we're based. So Pontefract have it's a home of Haribo. So they Bush and Richard on Absolute Radio did a podcast, and you could send them in something and they'd try it. So I sent them in Pontefract. I'm not a big fan of licorice myself. It happened to coincide with our licorice festival in Pontefract. They tried this licorice. They obviously give me a shout out, so I got on there and I did a post about that. When we had the mini budget last year in September, I managed to put on like a social media post on Twitter saying the mortgage broker is like riding a bike on fire through hell at the right time, and I got 24,000 Twitter responses on the back of that. I did the Financial Times podcast, and then they'd now asked me to go in September to do the Financial Times forum to them like, so that's a great topic. However, and that's in September in London. So things about you don't know who's watching and who will recommend you because they like the content. They think it's a bit quirky, it's not boring. It would, I suppose, grab their attention because it's a little bit different.
Did you say, sorry, that happened on Twitter? So is Twitter your biggest channel?
I don't think I've actually got any business with Twitter. However, I get recognised on Twitter, and that's by journalists and helping out journalists. So when they're asking out on Twitter, can have some feedback on whatever's happening in the market. They put you 2 pences. I might do some more strategy posts, introduce approach. The Financial Times and not come to me. Even a couple of the Daily Express is good to get before that. And I'll put the 10 pence worth in.
Yes. Yeah.
It's good, to raise your profile, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. That part of the strategy that I teach to my advisors or, try and encourage is a part of the strategy that's called trust tags. And it's about building up as many, it's like influencer marketing, right? Really be seen as an influencer, really be seen with other influencers and be seen in reputable publications like the Financial Times. One of my clients has been featured in it as well. And it's not just one thing that you do. It's not that one viral post or that one video or that one picture that you posted. It's a combination of things. What I'm getting from you is that you're not just there for the one viral post and then you stop. You actually go to the next and the next. You always try and sound relatable and different to, the everyday post, which is, oh, look, inflation's gone up, down, side, and that's what everyone's posting about.
It can be a bit, quirky and stuff like that. I think I challenged myself. I don't know whether you've ever watched Happy Valley, have you?
A little bit, yes, I have, yeah.
So James Norton is from Yorkshire, and I got them to post one of my posts about Happy Valley, actually on his fan page. So, little private wins.
Oh, what do you mean? So,
and we don't get, do you?
So what, sorry, describe what that post actually looked like. So what did you do? You contacted Happy Valley?
No, so they've got a fans page for James Norton, and I think I put something on, it was the last series about Happy Valley. I did some kind of more related Happy Valley posts, and they posted it on his page.
Where was this? What platform?
It'll be on Facebook.
On Facebook, okay. See, I didn't even think of that. And that's why everyone should have an involvement in their own branding, because yes, I can strategize and I can help someone, be as creative as possible. But you know yourself better than anybody else, and you know what you like. And, you know, I wouldn't have ever thought about going onto the fan page of Happy Valley because I wasn't, you know, the biggest fan of the show. So I probably don't follow that page. And so it wouldn't have occurred to me to have done that. But
Yorkshire as well, you know, so because it's Yorkshire, so you kind of, and obviously West Yorkshire money, so kind of there's a affiliation there. So
absolutely, yeah. And that's the benefit of being, like I'm trying to say, is whether I don't think you outsource any of your marketing, or, you know, you do it all yourself. Is that right?
I do let someone else do the actual the things, the digital.
Yeah.
I steer what I'm going to say and what I want to talk about. You know, I did one about what brokers don't do, mortgage capacity letters. You know, so that's another revenue vehicle by solicitors for divorce and courts. You know, putting that out there, I don't think I've ever seen one of those apart from when we've done it. So just think outside the box a little bit, you know, because, you know, it's a turbulent time at the moment where, you know, stop, start, what we're doing, people are holding back. You know, you've got to kind of be versatile a little bit, haven't you?
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that's exactly what I'm getting from you, that I never appreciated from a social media perspective, because obviously I see maybe one or two of your posts and I don't get the full picture, but it just goes to show, like I talk about this all the time. It is harder than you think. It's, you know, it's not just about posting. It is about having your brain is on all the time. Thinking
you didn't breathe the browning. You do. So I'm usually on my Facebook. I thought 4 pages are set for a group as well. You know, I would suggest to people they go on the community pages of your local town and, you know, live and breathe it. It's share posts and like other businesses. So it's ongoing, isn't it? Oh, I know them. Oh, I know them. People recognise me by remarks and posts, not me, because I'm never really through my camera really. So that's how I like it.
Right. So yeah, just on that note then, so all your posts, are they just branded as West Yorkshire money and you don't actually show your face?
Not very often, no. So we did a thing with Haribo. So we did a thing with Haribo where I had my child doing the advert where it's a kid speaking over an adult.
Yes, yeah.
We did those with our children. But very rarely I will do something where, you know, it's which I should do. This is my pet hate really, or, you know, so I'm scared of it. But I need to get myself on TikTok. That's my next challenge.
Okay, well that's really proved me wrong, and many of my clients say to me, "Oh no, I just want you to do." Well, actually, they don't end up becoming clients, so I can quite, you know, openly come to me saying, "Oh, I don't want to do video. I don't want to put my face out there. I don't want photos of myself. I just want to advertise where, you know, my company ABC Mortgage Brokerage." And I'm like, I don't know how that's going to work. I'm like, I don't.
You definitely seeing you're real and genuine and personable, and, you know, if I put any posts on, you know, usually my child gets a lot of posts, or my husband, and I, you know, PDA, and everyone looks it.
Yes,
They don't usually see me doing something like that, so it's a bit of a shock tactic for them, but, you know, it works.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. So that's what I mean. It's like, I don't take any clients on that just want me to, not because it doesn't work, but it's because it's just not it's not our strategy. Our whole motto with Manuka Media is that we want to make we're here to help make financial services more human. And so how can I make it more human if I don't show the humans that work there? So that's just our yeah, I mean, that you know, that's my non-negotiable. It's you know, I've had people say, "Oh, instead of me making a video, can we get AI to make a video?" I'm like, but AI isn't the one giving advice to your customer. And then people complain that AI is taken over. I'm like, but you let it. Like, if you want your customers to come to you for advice, why would you send them to a robot version of you? Like, you need to be the face of your advice, and that means getting behind the camera. Or even just a picture, doesn't have to be a talking video. We can even do silent videos, as you know. I could just take a video of you doing something random, and then we can just put music over the top of it on TikTok. You don't have to speak, right? But I just think your customers want to hear you. They want to see you. They want to.
It's like TikTok is so clever that you don't have to speak. You just do those words I don't know what they're called. So just things that
the captions, and then you just put things like that. Yeah, there's so many ways that. Today, it's so easy to do a video, but I think because there are so many versions of a video, people are just getting confused, and they're like, should I be speaking? Should it be 5 minutes? Should it be a minute? You know, like TikTok have now released 10-minute TikToks. I was like, what in the world? Like, why? But I get it. Yeah, it's now like the up until the other day, it was only 3 minutes, the maximum. Now it's 10 minutes. And I do think it's becoming,
Too much, too much, mate.
yeah, well, but I think it's right for it to be that way, because a lot of people have turned to TikTok as like the new Google. So if, let's say you want to learn about something, really deep dive into a topic, right? And you're already on the platform and you've only got 30 seconds from someone and you're like, no, but I want to learn more. You then might have to move over to YouTube and watch like a longer video. And then it's like, actually, TikTok have now lost that viewer, lost that. So actually, it's quite smart, considering how binge-worthy TikTok is. It's now come to a point where people want to learn more because, I like, for example, when I've hired people in my team before, I hired someone from like a school leaver and I gave her like a gimbal and I gave her some like equipment and I said, right, your task today is to set this up, like get this connected to your phone. And I thought, what's she doing? Because like all of a sudden she was like on TikTok. I was like, she's not working. But actually I was looking over, I asked, I was like, oh, what are you up to? She was like, well, I'm researching how to do it. I was like, on TikTok. She was like, yeah, I'm watching videos of how to do it. I was like, yeah, that's it.
And I didn't like it at first, to be fair, because I'm old school, old doggy tricks. However, I love it. Cutting melons, how you can cut them and how you can...
Yeah.
Cookery is amazing.
The cooking, I mean, I love, I get a lot of like makeup tips on there. Yeah. There's like the funniest, like for me, the best performers and the best marketers are those cats. Like
the funny cat videos.
Cats are absolutely amazing. Like I just don't know how they do it. Or even the creator. I'm like, how could they think of this stuff? This is gold. So yeah, it's definitely an entertainment platform, but it's become an education platform where people are actually learning. But okay, just before we finish off, what do you want to teach? So this is a show about money, right? About women in finance as well. But if your audience, right, your potential customers were listening to this, or your existing customers, what would you like to teach them about money? What would you like for them to understand about money in today's world?
That's an interesting question. I think there needs to be just generally more scope to learning in the schools about curriculum. I can't say it, sorry. But there's not much, is there? Not much in school is taught about finances, debt, things like that. I think we should be going into colleges and everything else. I know there's a little bit of a rumble with that, to be fair, different places where they're starting to do something like that. But I think, if they're stuck on something, they just need to reach out where there's some clients can area their heads a little bit. We're not there to judge. I see all sorts of, arrears, CCJs, bankruptcies, but that we're there to help you to get from step A to B at some point, or at step approach of how we're going to get you there in the future.
Yeah, and I think that's a nice message, because I think
it's not talking about it, asking for help.
Yes, because I think maybe people have that shame that they carry. Oh, I've got a CCJ, or I'm in arrears, and actually I'm struggling to pay off my mortgage right now, because the monthly rates have gone up so much. And it's just about having, what you're saying is, don't be afraid to have that conversation, because actually the solution could be right there. Your broker could have that solution right there in front of you, or your lender might have options available to you. So just be open to discussing that, because the world is changing so fast. 1 minute inflation's up, then it's down, then the rates have changed, then the buy-to-let lenders are coming in, out. So it's just being connected. I think that the general golden thread that I get from almost every speaker that comes on the show is to be open and honest with your advisor, and to also have advisors around you, not just a mortgage advisor, but, from health to wealth and love and all of those kind of things.
We feel pain with it. Even the clients, who can suffer critical illness and stuff like that. We feel that pain, it can have that adverse effect on us as well. So, we care about the clients.
Absolutely, yeah. And advisors are going through it too. Advisors have mortgages, advisors have bills, advisors are so they know also they're in that position, right? So, no, absolutely fantastic, Adele. I want to thank you for being a wonderful Money Honey guest. I really enjoyed having you on the show. I'm glad our virtual relationship has now been, well, we're still virtual, but I've managed to see you live in action. So really, really great to see you. If listeners want to connect with you and they want to find you and learn more about you, what social media platforms will best represent you and the best place to connect with you?
I suppose, I am on LinkedIn. I'm not on everything. So I'm on LinkedIn. You will find me on Instagram. You'll find me Twitter. Yeah, I've got
Adele Forbes. Should we be looking for Adele Forbes or
Restructured Money or Adele Forbes? I've got
everything. We've got everything. So you've heard it here, guys. So if you want to follow more of Adele's creative ideas and her journey, if you want inspiration, then please do reach out to her on social media. She's got some great content going on out there. And again, I just ask you that if you are getting value from this show, please support us too in just simply just following the show and liking it. Whatever platform you choose to enjoy the show, please make sure that you ring the bell or subscribe so that you actually get notified from the next speaker that comes on the show. And again, if you felt that this was a valuable message to you, either let Adele know or drop me a message. I would love to share with the speakers your value, your comments, your feedback. I would love that for them. So once again, thank you for being on the Money Honey Show, and I will speak to you offline.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adele. Right, so